So, picture this. You're trapped 100 feet in the air for 30 days with a total stranger. Now that sounds like a test of pure physical endurance, doesn't it? But what if I told you it was really a high-stakes psychological experiment, one designed to show us how we really handle pressure, failure, and that constant battle between our ego and our reason? Okay, let's get into it.
So, what's at the heart of this whole thing? Well, a life-changing amount of money. $250,000 is sitting there on the line for two people who just have to do one thing: survive.
But here's the catch. Surviving isn't just about, dealing with the wind and the rain. In this game, every single failure has a real, immediate consequence. Their world, quite literally, gets smaller and smaller.
And that really gets to the core of what we're talking about today. Yeah, the prize money is the goal, but the real cost of messing up isn't just about the money. It's about the psychological toll, what it does to you inside, testing the absolute limits of your resolve. All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the setup, an experiment in the sky. Then we'll get into the pressure, failure, and consequences. After that, we'll see what happens with the lone survivor's ordeal, followed by the $500,000 dilemma, and we'll wrap it all up with the psychology of the game.
So, first step, an experiment in the sky. This is where we get the whole setup and we meet our two contestants who, trust me, were picked for a very specific reason. On one side, you've got Allison. She's the demolition expert, and for her, this money is a tool. It's a way to build a real future for her family. And then, you've got Angus, a reality TV star who says the happiest he's ever been was when he was broke. I mean, they're designed to be polar opposites, especially when it comes to what this prize actually means. Now, here's the rule that changes everything, and it is a total game changer. This is not a team sport. The rules are set up to actually incentivize one person to outlast the other, maybe even push them out. So from the very first minute, there's this undercurrent of competition baked right into their survival. Okay, so let's see how all this pressure starts to build. This next part is all about what happens when things go wrong, because this is where you really start to see the cracks forming. The pressure just keeps ramping up with these challenges, and a pattern starts to emerge really, really fast. On day 5, Angus fails a simple tennis ball challenge. Day 10, he falls asleep and they fail another one. And then on day 15, he can't make it across a balance game. It's 3 big challenges, 3 major failures, and they're all on him. And this is where the design of the whole experiment is just so clever. See, failure isn't just some abstract idea, it's physical. Every time they lose, a chunk of their platform is just gone. By the halfway mark, their world has literally been cut in half. It's such a powerful metaphor for how pressure and failure can just close in on you. And man, you can just hear the weight of all that failure in his voice. He starts to see himself as a liability, right? The psychological burden of letting her down, of physically shrinking their world. It just becomes too much. And after that third failure, he quits. And that brings us to a completely new phase of this whole experiment, the lone survivor's ordeal. Angus is gone, so now Allison is facing a whole different kind of monster. You'd think maybe it gets easier, right? No partner to worry about? Nope. The pressure from another person is gone, but it's replaced by the crushing internal pressure of just total isolation. I mean, she gets so lonely and bored, she literally befriends an ice cooler and names it Angus. And the challenges don't stop. Now, every single day, she has to hit a target with a bow and arrow, and every time she misses, another piece of her floor disappears, making her tiny, tiny world even smaller. So all of this, the loneliness, the boredom, the daily stress, it all leads to this final, incredibly intense test, the $500,000 dilemma. This is where everything she has been through comes down to one single, terrifying choice. So here's the choice. After 30 days of absolute hell, she has a guaranteed $250,000. It is hers, she can walk away, but they offer her a double or nothing shot. If she can walk across that same balance beam that took Angus out, the prize doubles to $500,000. But if she falls, she gets nothing. 0. And this one quote from her, wow, it just captures that entire battle raging inside her head. That's the voice of her ego, right? The confidence she's built from surviving all this, going up against the cold, hard logic that says the only sane choice is to take the money. It's a conflict we all face, just, usually with much lower stakes. So, after all of that, what's the lesson here? What can we really learn from this? Let's break it down in our final section, the psychology of the game. So in the end, her reason wins. Allison makes the smart call, the safe call, and she secures her $250,000. But then her curiosity gets the best of her. She has to know. She decides to try the beam anyway, just for fun, to see what would have happened. And in this just incredible moment of validation, she falls. And what she says right after, well, that's the most powerful lesson in this entire thing. She recognized in that moment that her ego, that voice telling her, I can do it, almost led her to make a catastrophic mistake. It's this incredible moment of self-awareness that really connects this insane challenge right back to our own lives. And that's really the ultimate question this whole thing leaves us with, isn't it? In those make or break moments in your own life, when there's a huge opportunity or a huge risk right in front of you, how do you balance that confident little voice in your head telling you to go for it against the rational voice that's screaming caution? It's something to think about because, unlike Allison, most of us never get to see what would have happened if we'd made the other choice.